Welcome to the B&G Virtual Invitational Round 2. We have got a great lineup of sailors today, and the prize on offer is a B&G Vulcan 7, a really top of the range device and chart plotter, and something that all of our sailors will be really keen to get their hands on. So without further ado, let's take a look at the sailors we've got in the B&G Invitational Round 2. Our B&G invited sailors are Tom Janey, a software engineer with experience in the performance sailing sector, having developed software for the Volvo Ocean Race and America's Cup. He is now an engineer at Ineos Team UK. Peter Holmberg, the star US Virgin Islands sailor, Finn silver medalist at the 1988 Olympics, Maxi World Champion, a world #1 match racer and America's Cup helmsman. Mark Owens, part of the R&D team at Navico, testing new software and product releases for B&G, and an extremely keen sailor, currently in the Musto Skiff class. And our challengers for round 2 are Sam Whaley, winner of the B&G Virtual Invitational Round 1, 2019 ILCA National Champion, and one of the regulars during lockdown live streams. David Hyvey, International Moth 2018 European Champion, former RS200 and RS400 National Champion, now a Musto Skiff sailor, and a Lockdown Cup star. Alistair Ramsden, a long-time dinghy sailor from Mumble, Swansea in multiple classes, describing himself as the brains at the pointy end, keeping his helm under control. Adrian Gray, a lifelong sailor, 10-time Fastnet race competitor, Rourke winner, race director at the Royal Western Yacht Club, member of the Tonnerre 46 and 51 team, and 12 years sailing as a trimmer with Kevin Sproul on a J80. Mark Angel, a Formula 18 and Tornado World Championship sailor turned offshore sailor, working for Fourth Cape, operator of the Offshore Academy in Cowes, and also 2019 J24 National Champion and Sonata sailor. So you now know who is racing in the B&G Invitational Round 2. So without further ado, we're going to go into race 1. This is going to be in the star class. Here is the fleet lined up with 38 seconds to go. Yes, it was about 40 seconds to go. And we can see all of our teams there with some really colourful graphics at the moment. And David Hyvey, you've chosen a brown boat. Any reason?
I thought if I do poo, then I've got a really good excuse and I can just blame it on the colour of the boat.
Well, thank you for that. And good luck with your brown boat. It's not exactly a traditional colour or a star in particular, but here we go. 3 seconds to the start and the fleet's off. And there we see Adrian Gray decided to start on port. Funnily enough, got a penalty for that. Port in the middle of the line, not exactly the greatest of starts. But we can see there at the top, the winner of round 1, Whale X, that's Sam Whaley, the ILCA 2019 champion, and I believe came third in this year's ILCA championship in the lead with Pud. That's Alistair Ramsden just behind him. And then also Mark Angel in third place, just swapping places with Mark Owens. So let's take a look. Sam, how are things going so far? And it's the defending champion.
Yeah, going pretty well so far. Obviously early days, but had a nice start at the pin end, a massive shift. So managed to get on port pretty quickly and looking pretty rosy as it is.
Brilliant stuff. And we played this a lot during lockdown. Have you been on the game much since then, or is it something where you've just been back on the real water?
Yeah, mainly back on the real water. I do miss it quite a lot actually, but for now I've been back to the day job in my laser back down here in Weymouth and just training a lot. So haven't played it in quite a while actually. Nice to be back.
And we've got a couple of overseas players at the moment. One is actually Tom Cheney of Ineos Team UK. Currently, you are in lockdown. What situation are you in there, Tom?
Well, currently I'm doing 2 weeks of, I think it's called managed isolation in a hotel room, where I basically had a test yesterday and a test in a couple of days' time, and they're doing quite a good job of kind of keeping it all very locked down here.
And so
I'm going to use the jet lag excuse for why I'm coming last.
And so you've got 14 days where you've got to spend in isolation.
Yes. Yeah.
So for you, this must be 2 in the morning.
Something like that, but I think I'm still halfway between UK time and New Zealand time. So
it's got to be no good for the jet lag that when you're in isolation and night and day in an airport hotel can't exactly mean much to you.
No, I do have a little balcony. It's not all bad.
Okay, so you can actually see the outside world. But yeah, right now it would seem the jet lag may be kicking in 8th place. But hopefully a little bit of a chance to catch up there. You've just overtaken Peter Holmberg there. And Peter, you're out in the Virgin Islands at the moment.
Yes, I am.
And how are things out there at the moment?
15 knots from the northeast, sunny, all good.
That sounds pretty similar to over here at the moment. That's roughly what we've got here. But not on the virtual race course. It's looking like a similar picture. So we've got similar pictures around the world apart from in Auckland hotels. And Peter, have you done any star sailing in your time?
About 100 years ago, I sailed them for a bit, but no, not much at all.
And you've done a lot of sailing in your time in the Fins, all the way to the Maxi, the America's Cup yachts, and match racing. You're relatively new to this virtual racing, but are you finding that all of that knowledge is translating into useful knowledge on the virtual racetrack?
So far, it's gotten me into nothing but trouble, but first race that I've ever done virtually, so if I can get out of last, I'll feel pretty good.
And silver medalist from the 1988 Olympics in the Fin class. And how was that as an event, and how do you look back on it?
Yeah, still ranks after all these years as my all-time greatest sailing experience. Trained here at home locally, kind of did something outside the norm, and really grateful I did that. And then the weather turned out as my recon proved, and turned out to be survival conditions and heavy air, and really paid off to have a smart game plan and put your life and put everything into it, and then to have it come out okay is one of the most rewarding things in life.
What a fantastic occasion, and to achieve a silver medal at an Olympic Games must be just one of those moments that you, as you say, just you look on as a crowning moment in your sailing. And the America's Cup sailing that you've done as well, with both Oracle Team USA and Alingi, how did you find that in comparison?
To the Fin or to each other? I'd compare it to the Fin. That's the easier answer. America's Cup is awesome. It's the other Everest. The Olympics still ranks to me as the all-time purest, greatest mountain to climb. But a different mountain is the America's Cup, and it's fantastic. It's a team thing, and when you have the budget there and you incorporate all that design into your normal sailing skills, it's wonderful. So you get to go out there and help solve what in our sport is not all science. There's a whole lot of art still there. And the scientists, well, it used to be, they still needed us to make the equation clear. And that was a fantastic experience. The teamwork aspect, all the components, some more complex than a simple Olympic challenge. And great experience. Both of them each had their ups and downs. I did Oracle I did Team Dennis Conner actually to start, and that was a wonderful intro. And then I did Oracle, and then I did Alinghi, and loved them all.
Wow. And you really do personify the diversity that sailing has. You've been involved in so many different types of boat campaigns and also types of sailing. Do you think the diversity of sailing and what you can do in the sport is one of its major strengths?
Yeah, I think it's, for us personally, it's a great strength. For the public, I'm not sure it is. You know, we have to do a better job of outlining and explaining how these different classes and segments of our sport all tie together. But yes, individually, I think it's fantastic to cross-train and sail in all different boats and types of sailing. I think it's a wonderful adds to the fabric of life, you know.
So fantastic from the sailor's point of view. There's something we as a sport need to do a better job of explaining the different parts of it to the general public. And someone who's recently changed classes, David Hyvey.
Hello.
You've gone from the Moths to the Musto skiffs, and how are you finding them?
It was going really well until I decided to hurt my hamstring 4 days before my event started, so I didn't have the best one, so I turned up anyway to give it a go. But yeah, it didn't really work out very well.
And so that was for the Nationals there?
Yeah, it was still good fun. Pete Greenhouse sailed brilliantly, so I don't think I'd have got near him anyway. He was amazing. The conditions were really tricky and he was absolutely brilliant.
And with your Moth, you had a unique colour, I would pretty much call it, for your Moth, your last Moth. Have you managed to go anything different for your Musto skiff, or is it the standard?
It was just a standard white. I went for a bit of lime yellow with my Moth. Everyone else says it was green, but Jim Saltonstall always told me I was never allowed a green boat, so I found a yellow lime, and therefore I decided I was allowed to call my green boat lime yellow to get away with it being green.
And would you regard that European Championship win in the Moth as your greatest achievement in that class?
I think so, yeah. With all the Olympic sailors that sail the Moth as kind of their fun boat, I think so. I think the only reason I was able to compete against them is because I'm a teacher, so I get 19 weeks holiday a year to go sail.
And also in the Musto skiff class, we've got Mark Owens, who's a regular Musto skiff sailor. Have you managed to race against David Hyvey yet in the class?
I haven't yet. I unfortunately wasn't able to attend the Nationals as I've got a 4-month-old. So that puts a restriction on my sailing this year, as well as not.
All of us who've had kids know just how restricting that can be on your sailing at any one time. But you do a lot of the R&D at Navico with new software and product releases. What instrumentation would you say is the most useful thing which sailors can have nowadays, which B&G has pioneered?
I've been with B&G for about 5 years now, and come through dinghy sailing and through keel boats, and I find sort of our ley line and sort of polars information through H5000 so useful. It's a bit of a cheat really for anyone who's got it on board over anyone who hasn't got it on board. So yeah, ley line calculation.
It's great how you said that just as you crossed the ley line into the windward mark.
Yeah.
The timing was absolutely impeccable. We can see you coming in third place. Sam Whaley in the lead. The Star's not the fastest of classes, so this is going to be the longest race. And
haven't got my ley lines enabled.
And in second place we've got Alistair Ramsden then. And Alistair, you describe yourself as a long-time dinghy sailor. How many classes do you think you've sailed?
Oh, blimey. Mirrors, GPs, FDs, 505s, lasers in the youth squad. It's got to be Ospreys as well. It's got to be in double figures, surely. Never particularly successful in any of them, but always good fun. And I think it was Peter that said earlier, the diversity. It also adds, because you meet so many different people, and some people go in different classes and you meet them when you go to different events, different classes. But there's some people that stick to the same classes, and you only meet them when you go back to that class that they were in. And the social side of it is massive in sailing.
So a dinghy sailor who really has been around so many of the classes. And do you find when you switch from class to class, it helps your sailing overall?
Definitely. Being at the front end, obviously the brains of the boat, it's important to to understand. The technical side of boats are a bit tricky, but there's so many sail makers and others that are helpful with giving you the standard settings that you can jump into a boat and be average straight away. But certainly weight, balance, the trimming of the sails, etc. Yeah, jumping from class to class does help a lot.
And unfortunately, during this time, we have lost Tom Cheney from the race. His Wi-Fi in his lockdown hotel, or isolation hotel, I think as it's called, dropped out. So Tom, it seems like things not great for your race there. And we've actually lost Sam Whaley from the race as well, the defending champion here.
Oh, no.
Out.
I'm gutted. My mum just called me. Mum just called me, and I'm like, Mum, I'm live. I can't go in it.
Didn't Stu have that excuse with his gran?
Oh, yeah, we have heard these excuses before, so it is a similar one. But so just a phone call has dropped out your connection. Oh dear.
Gutted.
So you're going to be starting this race maximum points. Sadly, it is the virtual equivalent of gear failure that you've had there, and just like in real racing, if you have a DNF, it's going to be 9 points, I'm afraid, for you. So, not the greatest start to your event. But Alistair, who we were talking to,
Not sure
as
about
long
that
as his connection holds out, so are you in Mumbles at the moment?
Yeah, I see the lighthouse from here.
So as long as the Mumbles Wi-Fi and connections are going strong, you are heading towards the finish line.
Yeah, thank goodness for dropping out today. I was just thinking, actually, 9 points is normally really good for me, so I'm delighted with one.
Yeah, well, 1 point, and look at that, what a lead. And there, Adrian Gray in second place, but 156 metres behind as you cross the finish line to take the win in the first race of the B&G Virtual Invitational. Second place, looks like we've got Tonnerre there. That's Adrian Gray. Go on board with him.
a bit of a match race here for third and fourth.
Third and fourth, but a penalty there. Let's go to that match race. There we can see a penalty there for Mark Owens. There we have Adrian Gray, nicely finished in second place. And here it is, a huge match race into the finish between the beautiful brown boat of David Hyvie and Mark Owens in SQA Mr. O. Very close indeed.
Good race.
Great racing. Lots and lots of jibes. Very good to see.
Bit of excess aggression there, I think, but it was good.
And we've got two more just on the racetrack. Here we're with Peter Holmberg, who's not in his usual position. We'd see on a real racetrack, but as I say, very new to the virtual racing. But still very close finish there with Cram, Mark Angel. So, not bad at all. And I've got Magnus Smith, my right-hand man at yachtsandyachting.com and sailworld.com, compiling the scores there. We can see the ranking. They're confirming Alistair Ramsden, the winner of race 1. Followed by Tonnerre, that's Adrian Gray and David Hyvie with the beautiful boat in third place, just winning that match race with Mark Owens. You can see just over a second separating third and fourth. Fantastic racing there. Okay, what we're going to now do is have a quick look at a video that B&G have put together, which really explains about their passion.
You can sail around the world more times than most people and still not be a leader at all. It's probably undefinable qualities that will make a leader. You have to have the expertise. You can't run without having the people who know what they're doing. Able to listen. Very important. Able to delegate. Able to let go. We're all in it together. It's for the good of the team. Perhaps the leader might be the person who has the most vivid dream of the lot. Winning and losing isn't whether you've got the strongest muscle. Just knowing that you can beat them. Attitude is vital. So it's undefinable qualities that will make a leader. Why can't we?
Okay, we are now coming up to race 2 of the B&G Virtual Invitational round 2. This time we're going to be sailing in J70s. So Sam, could you start the clock for the countdown to the start?
Sure. Here we go.
And so here we've got 1 minute to go to the start in J70s this time. And Sam, what venue have you chosen this time?
So we're in Cowes today, so hopefully we'll have a bit more wind and yeah, lovely conditions out there.
J70s have been frequenting the Central Solent quite a bit recently. So there's some great racing going on. And the J70s, it's quite an exciting class. So we had the Star's quite a pedestrian race, but this one should be shorter and sharper. So the start, of course, absolutely vital. Here they are with 19 seconds to go. See, there, one of the boats very close to the start line, just ready for the start. Pin end looking quite popular. And they're off, all clear. A nice start by the fleet. Very nice indeed. This looks like everybody's really getting their act together there. We can see a superb committee boat start there for Tonnerre. That's Adrian Gray. So Adrian, you picked the committee boat end. It looked good.
Yeah, well, at least I picked an end. Last time I picked the pointing towards the dock, which was a bit unfortunate. I think I dropped the tiller on that one.
Okay, and you're based down in Plymouth at the moment, and recent announcement that the Sail GP is going to be visiting you. You must be really excited about that.
Yeah, over the moon actually for the city. It's a really good move. As you know, we had the America's Cup World Series here a few years back, I think about 9 years ago now, and it's quite a spectacle. So yeah, it's going to be really awesome. It'd be great to see a lot of people down here.
And you've been a regular sailor on the real Tonnerre yachts. They really are fantastic. The two yachts have been fantastic racing machines. You must have really enjoyed that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, very, very fortunate to be able to sail them. I was part of the team, you know, when they first started with the blue boat on the 46 and stuck with it right the way through. So yeah, really, really fortunate.
And talking of ley lines, and we were mentioning earlier with Mark Owens about how the B&G instruments really get those ley lines right. But I'm looking at a fleet of 5 boats well over the port ley line here, and the whole fleet coming in. A little bit just wondering how tight this mark rounding is going to be and how many penalties we're going to get. And I can see
Yeah,
there,
I've got a feeling I might be taking one here.
yeah, well, Tom, I can see Tom Cheney, now that he's actually on a 4G connection as opposed to his lockdown hotel Wi-Fi, nicely in the lead at the Windward mark. So, Tom, bit gutting
thanks,
that
Matthew.
last race.
Yeah. I was doing pretty badly anyway. Well, I think I made up a bit on the downwind, so I wasn't that disappointed that I got kicked out.
And remarkably, even though everybody was over the port ley line, only 1 penalty given. Really quite surprising, but
I think I got round cleanly. I was kind of expecting there to be a bit more carnage behind me.
yeah, I was expecting a lot more carnage there, and it's almost disappointingly clean, the racing there. Very, very polite sailors. We've got one boat deciding, it's Peter deciding to sail with the spinnaker upwind on the downwind leg. What happened there, Peter?
Just pressing buttons, mate. I don't know what happened there. I thought I was hoisting.
It does take a little bit of getting used to this game. So, yeah, we know, from your real racing, this isn't really a reflection of how you sail in the real world. So again, Tom in the lead. David Hyvey moved up to 2nd place. And
Yeah, I had a
still,
nice little run there. It was all right.
even in your J70, you've chosen Brown.
Yeah, I thought I'd go brown across the board.
Very sort of nice. But there, Tom out in Auckland, 2 a.m. for him, but doing very well, just crossing the fleet on starboard. And look at that on that ley line call. If that wind holds, he has made a beautiful call into that ley line.
Yeah, Adrian doesn't feel like he's very far behind me though.
Yep, having a very, very close battle there with Alistair Ramsden as well, who was up and down quite a bit. Let's take a look at this. This is going to be a tight rounding. Tom still in the lead. You can see Adrian came in on
How did I
port.
get a penalty there?
Why
Oh, dear.
on earth did Dave
What happened
Hyde
there?
get the penalty for that one?
What?
David,
Not
how are
so
you
sure
feeling
on that
about that? That did not look fair.
No, I'm not so sure about that one.
One of the things about virtual sailing, the umpire's decision may be questionable, but is final.
It is indeed.
But you've got back into 2nd place again, so as penalties go, not too bad.
It says 5th on mine.
Oh, it's saying 2nd for me. So we'll take a look on that leaderboard. Now,
I think I've gone the wrong way down the road.
Sam Whaley there. Sam, what has happened? Down in 7th place. Has your mum called again?
No, just a series of poor decisions, unfortunately, has just meant, I've been boxed out on a few marginal calls.
And so this really does go to show how competitive the fleet is. You were the winner of round 1, but I'm guessing right now probably last in the overall rankings. According to, so
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, just obviously hasn't quite been my my day yet on these 2 races. So.
And David
hopefully
Hyvey just picked up his
yeah.
second penalty of the race. What's happened?
3rd, actually.
What has happened to the clean sailing style there as you come
That's
across
pretty
the
close.
finish line?
I didn't even cross the finish line.
You haven't even crossed the finish line. This is not your best race. Are you going back
I've
up?
had a bit of a mare. I've got to go round again.
This gives a real chance to Peter Holmberg, who's coming into the finish. Oh, and David, looked like you just managed to finish in front there.
Oh, terrible.
Okay, well, a fantastic win there by 12 seconds for Tom Cheney. There, Mark Owens up into 2nd place, and Alistair Ramsden in Pud, the winner of our first race, in 3rd there. So 1st and a 3rd. Alistair, that's decent results in the first 2 races. You must be feeling pretty good right now.
I am. I've no idea where that third came from. Made a lot of bad decisions in that race, but that last run, they all seemed to enjoy fighting each other, and I went through the middle.
And the next race we're going to be holding in the F50s, which are a bit renowned for how it can be crash and burn racing. So,
Absolutely, anyone's game.
yeah, going into that, and hopefully soon we should have some results after race 2, and so I'll be able to give you the scores on the doors. In the meantime, we're just going to take a look at the B&G Zeus 3S, which is really quite an instrument. Okay, we've got race 3 coming up very soon. We can see the F50s lined up. So, Sam, do you want to start the sequence?
Yeah, sure. Here we go again.
Here we are, just a 45-second sequence this time. You can see these ultra-fast catamarans, foiling catamarans. A reaching start on this course. Penalties already aplenty. Now looking at the scores on the doors, we've got Alistair Ramsden on 4 points with his first and a third. Adrian Gray, Tonnerre, in second place on 6 points. Followed by David Hyvey on 10 points. Remarkable after that 7th place in... in third place, equal points, is Mark Owens, also on 6 points. And here we go, the fleet is away with Sam Whaley. Wow, what a comeback. Straight away into a 60-metre lead. Extraordinary. And there's Tom Cheney just behind, but Alistair Ramsden in third place. Looking good for him there. So the top 3 right now, Alistair Ramsden in first place on 4 points. Adrian Gray and Mark Owens tied on 6 points. It looks like a battle between those 3 overall, with the next very, very tight points. David Hyvey, Tom Cheney both on 10 points. Mark Angel on 11. And Sam Whaley and Peter Holmberg both on 14 points. Really tight leaderboard there. But the top 3 nicely ahead at the moment. And here the boats just coming into the windward mark. We can see Sam Whaley just rounding there. Let's take a look on board at the telemetry. 33 knots. Absolutely racing away there. 250-metre lead, Sam. What gave you that huge advantage?
Mainly the start, really. Just managed to nail the start perfectly, and at that point, if you're at full speed, going the right way, and on the right end of the start line, you're sorted, really. So it's pretty lucky there.
And that downwind leg there just took you seconds. And Tom, there we are with on board with you with the Ineos Team UK colours. This must be a nice feeling, actually, seeing your boat out on the water with the Ineos Team UK colours.
Yeah, and we're quite good in the F50 normally, it seems. So,
well, second place, and you've actually caught up a lot there
Yeah, it's a bit fickle up this beat though.
Well, you'd made a gain for a bit and then suddenly a loss, and it looks like their cram just coming through Mark Angel. This is place changing the whole time.
Yeah, Mark Owens isn't far behind me either, I think.
No, he isn't. Looks like Mark Owens now in second place there. So, Mark, how are things going?
Yeah, that's right, distract Mark.
Mark Owens.
Yeah, concentration levels are high.
Let's take a look on board. That telemetry, 26 knots upwind. Everyone rounding. And this is into the finish line. Sam Whaley, a fantastic win. Followed by Tom Cheney in his team's colours. And Pud, Alistair Ramsden in third place there, I believe. There, the fleet is finishing. There we can see the Spinnaker Tower in the background there as the race finishes. Hopefully we'll get the leaderboard, yes. Confirming in race 3, Sam Whaley, Whalex, the winner of that race after some rather up and down races before that. And their second place, Tom Cheney in Sail Geek TC. And their Pud, Alistair Ramsden in third place. That looks like it could be a very good result for him overall. So we're just getting the scores compiled at the moment. Let's take a look at the telemetry for this race. And you can see here with this race legs chart that there's a huge amount of up and down racing. You can see Peter Holmberg was there right up at the top, but that is some steep lines down there, Peter. What happened?
What, after the start?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, first time sailing an F-50 virtually. I was pressing all the buttons and wasn't really sure where I was, so happy
There's a baptism of fire into the world of virtual racing. Do you think this is something you're going to give a bit more of a go?
Yeah, it's not bad, I must say. Got to spend a little time getting used to the buttons and the reactions, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Fantastic. It's been an absolute pleasure having you involved in the racing, and also just listening to some of the highlights of your sailing career. So thank you very much for joining us. I know it's been an event where you've had very, very little practice. So fantastic that you've just come along and given it a go. So thank you very much indeed. So we're just getting the stats together, the finished results table. And I'm thinking it's probably looking pretty good for Alistair Ramsden here. With a first, a third, and a third would put him on 7. Let's see. Yeah, first, a third, and a third would put him on 7 points. So I'm thinking that's looking quite strong for him because the next boat was on 6 points. So yeah, I think Alistair, you must be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. Thank you. Waiting for the confirmation, but yeah, that was great fun.
Were there any nerves in that final race with the F-50?
Well, they were all over the place, weren't they? Up and down, and I went from I think it was second to last at one stage on the legs.
Looking at the telemetry, I think you went third, fifth, fourth, third. So pretty consistent actually all the way around. It may have felt like last on the race course at one point, but
I think between the boys it was a slightly different story. But luckily it wasn't just me that was having a few errors on the uphill and downhill bits.
And Tom Cheney, you must be, and also Sam Whaley, both must be a bit gutted at the moment about those technical issues which took you out of race 1. First of all, Tom, how's it feeling now with a great result in the last race, second place, and also your first in race 2? So
I feel a little bit
gutted right now?
vindicated. Yeah, I do wish I hadn't thrown that first race away, but yeah, feeling a bit better about first and the second and the last two. But
Yeah, a fantastic comeback there. And I have just got the results through, confirming. First, let's do in reverse order of the podium. In third place, and on equal points with Adrian Gray of Tonnerre, is third place, though, goes to Tom Cheney, courtesy of your first place in race 2. But you're on equal points, 12 points. But that first place gave you it on the tie break. So there, Tom Cheney of Ineos Team UK, Sail Geek TC, third. In second
awesome.
place, we've got Mark Owens. So fantastic result there, Mark. You must be extremely pleased with that. How's it feel?
Adrenaline levels on the last race were pretty high.
Interestingly, though, 3 points ahead of you with a first, a third, and a third. Fantastically consistent. Alistair Ramsden, winner of B&G Virtual Invitational Round 2, and also the winner of a B&G Vulcan 7. You must be delighted.
I am delighted. It's fantastic news, and thank you so much, everyone, especially Yosin Gang and B&G. It's been very much fun. Obviously, thank you to the race committee, the rescue crew, and the galley staff as well. But, no, it's been great. Thank you so much.
In these times, this is definitely a socially distanced race where we've got sailors literally all around the world taking part, and in many parts of the UK as well. And yes, the race committee, David Hyvey, I'm not too sure is going to be so happy with some of the calls made by the umpire there. David, what did you do to annoy the umpire so much to be caught? When you came in on the starboard ley line, a boat comes in on port at you and you got the penalty. How did that make you feel?
I think I know what I did. I think if you touch the rudder, it says that you're turning then, and then I think that gave me the penalty. I think it was just a little bit of not playing the game for quite a long time and not realising how to play the game to make sure you don't miss those things. But oh well, these things happen.
Those in-game tactics, which can just make all of the difference, and just feeling a little bit rusty. Pretty much the same colour as your boat.
Pretty much. It was kind of suitable, really, wasn't it?
Well, thank you so much for everybody for watching this live stream and the B&G Virtual Invitational Round 2. Thank you so much to the sailors for taking part, especially the newcomers and people for connecting around the world, for Tom Cheney for connecting at 2 a.m. in his Auckland time, and all the best with the next 10 days of your isolation period. And
thank you very much.
And fantastic result there for Alistair Ramsden, winner of a B&G Vulcan 7. And thank you so much to B&G for sponsoring this event, making it happen, and just great to get back out on the virtual race course. And we hope to see you all again soon. Take care.